Hello, Internet. Welcome to a very uncomfortable conversation about Israel that I don't really feel like having, but that I feel is kind of lacking as part of the public discourse. So I think it needs to be had at some point. So just to, preface things properly, obviously, the Holocaust happened. Obviously, it's one of the greatest crimes that has ever been committed. And obviously, any sort of violence against people simply based on the order of their birth is not only super illogical, but completely fucked and not something that you should ever even be permitted to do. I'm not one of those liberal fucks that thinks that you should just be allowed to hold your discriminatory ideas. No. I think we should be allowed to forcibly correct your thinking on shit like that. Obviously, I'm not going to go ahead and say the worst crime ever committed just because I live in North America, and we're, specifically Canada, where we still have fucking scalping bounties. And I'm not even kidding you on that. Canada has scalping bounties. In Nova Scotia, I believe, you can get $5 from the provincial government. You're legally entitled to it if you bring them an Indigenous person's scalp. Obviously, the way that we treat it is that murder laws supersede it, but legally you're still entitled to your $5 per scalp. And we're like, no, we can't change that law because the Queen herself would have to change that because it's a royal decree. And apparently, the Queen herself does not give a fuck enough to remove literal scalping bounties, so we've got those in Canada. That's one of the things that I'm definitely going to put as a bigger crime than the Holocaust, just historically speaking. Just to contextualize my thinking on this, that's the type of egregious shit it takes to actually supersede that. I'm not one of those fucks. But I'm also not one of those liberal fucks that thinks that it somehow justifies Israel. Because Israel's pretty fucked up. Just in its existence. I'm not even saying like its behavior. Its conception is totally bonkers level fucked up. So the whole thing is that electro scooter. The whole thing. Very pretty sunset. The whole thing is that they are entitled to it because they need a protective homeland for Jewish people because the Holocaust happened. Okay. And they're entitled to that land because historically it was theirs before and a bit during the Roman Empire times. Cool. Where that becomes super fucked up is that we think that that's normal, that like you would just give people a whole country and create an ethno-religious state based on some pseudo-historical claim they've got based on a book that's just really important to them. Especially since the story in that book is that they genocided everyone to steal the land because they were the chosen race, it becomes really fucked up to use that as the historical basis by which you decided to just ethnically cleanse a place and give it to them. Now, obviously, Jewish people need some fucking protections because non-Jewish people are fucked up levels of violent to them for no good reason. There is no good reason for that kind of violence. So, obviously need some protections. The fact that we chose ethnically cleansing a country to give it to them, a group of white Europeans, let's be clear, is pretty fucked up. But then we go, yeah, but it was all legal because like the British gave it to them. Who the fuck said the British got to give away fucking Palestine? Who gave those white Europeans the right to give those white Europeans these fucking Semitic people's land? That's weird that we just like play along and accept the fact that an ethno-religious state based on ethnic cleansing is just justified because one group of white Europeans gave it to another. That's fucking weird, my dude. And then it's like, yeah, but it was so long ago. Fuck you mean it was so long ago? Those folks are still alive. The ones who did the ethnic cleansing, the ones who are still doing the ethnic cleansing, and the ones who were ethnically cleansed, the ones that weren't fucking murdered, are still alive. What do you mean it was so long ago? It was after the Holocaust. And there's nobody who's just going, yeah, but the Holocaust was, well, I mean, nobody who's worth the breath that they take who's going, yeah, but the Holocaust was so long ago. So why does that get to be an argument for ethnically cleansing fucking Palestine? Israel shouldn't exist. It just shouldn't fucking exist. White Europe should just stop being so anti-Jewish. That's the protection that Jewish people need. They don't need an ethnically cleansed other Semitic people. They need protections everywhere they go so that they don't need to just ethnically cleanse areas to feel safe. I think should be fairly obvious. And that's just like the concept of Israel being fucked up. That's not getting into the fucked up shit that Israel as a country does and what the fuck it uses its autonomy to do. Because what the fuck does it use its autonomy to do? Ethnic cleansing. That's literally, they just go, yeah, but we don't personally recognize your claim to your land, so your house is ours now. You won't give us your house, meet our bombs. That's some pretty fucked up shit that they're still doing. That, and then they go, yeah, but we didn't kill any civilians. We killed human shields. First of all, as soon as somebody that you're trying to murder requires also murdering other people to murder them, maybe just stop all the murder. Maybe don't just go like, yeah, cool, we got to hear some fucking racism here too. Neat. Some en français bullshit. Fuck those people. There's a street named after like my great-great-grandpappy or something up there. So that guy's family probably hasn't even been here as long as mine. Fuck that guy. Where was I? Yeah. Maybe. If somebody picks up a human shield, you stop trying to murder that person and you don't murder anybody instead of murdering more people. Maybe. But besides that, the way that they define human shield is basically if there was a soldier or a military installation nearby, that was human shield. That was, we get to blow you up because there was some soldiers or something nearby. Which effectively means that by Israel's own logic, Israel's Iron Dome has turned every Israeli citizen into a human shield being used by the Knesset or what the fuck ever. And therefore, every Palestinian rocket, even if they literally just aim for residential areas in Israel, is technically hitting a valid military target or a human shield. Literally by Israel's own logic, you could carpet bomb Israel into non-existence. Sorry, I kind of hit my mic there. But you could carpet bomb Israel into non-existence, and it would all be militarily justified by Israel's own logic. That's pretty fucked up, I gotta say. So, at this point, we have a white ethno-national state created and maintained by ethnic cleansing in recent times and continuing, that is being held so that these white Europeans could feel safe from other white Europeans. This is all being justified because genocide once happened, so genocide can happen again. The historical claim on the land is that a couple thousand years ago, they committed genocide to get it, and they've effectively labeled every single one of their own civilians as valid military targets in order to justify their incessant bombing of children and hospitals and schools and media organizations. And still, people want to call you anti-Semitic if you have a problem with that. Or if you compare that to the time that some white Europeans decided to ethnically cleanse an area for their own living space because of their own paranoia about Semitic peoples. Well, highly anti-Semitic to make that comparison. In one case, you had some people, some white Europeans, who were paranoid, who needed living space in their original fatherland, and who felt justified in murdering Semites out of the area after creating a violent apartheid system in order to get that. And in the other case, you have some white Europeans who, super paranoid, and decided to ethnically cleanse some living space in their original fatherland after creating a violent apartheid state. Well, actually, before and after creating a violent apartheid state, but who were given permission to do it by the most violent white Europeans of all time. You can clearly see how these things are fucking different. But, yeah. Let's not make that comparison, because that would be highly anti-Semitic. Basically, Canada has no valid existence. There is no point after killing people and stealing their land that it suddenly becomes your land. So Canada shouldn't exist. Mexico shouldn't exist. The United States definitely shouldn't exist. And in that same vein, Israel shouldn't fucking exist. Give Palestine back to the Palestinians. And hey, if they're kind enough to let these genocidal white Europeans still occupy some homes in the area, that would be a tremendous and historic level of kindness that they would be showing. But these white occupiers have no right to the area. They have a right to be shipped right the fuck back to their country of origin and charged for damages. Yeah, but that's the conversation that we're just really not ready to have as a society. So I guess I'm the racist. Anyways, peace.